Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all fandoms, welcome to the Ferret Raccoon podcast, episode 40. Once again, hitting another milestone, which I think is actually worth celebrating. Just as a quick note, I'm the Angry Raccoon.
I am Ace.
And we are back with another podcast. I hope you guys actually did enjoy the fact that we've almost had a podcast. Well, we've had 3 consecutive weeks of podcasts, which, if you didn't know, we did the E3 special podcast, which I think it was a blast, would you say?
Yeah, it was really enjoyable.
Yeah, I think despite it being long, I think we did have some fun on it, which was good. I mean, always got to have fun with these kinds of things. And I guess compared to some of the other shenanigans that actually happened regarding E3, I think I don't think we delved enough into it, because having looked at more of it, it's definitely like, oh, this may have been, I guess, one of the cringier
it was extraordinarily.
E3s. Yeah.
I think everyone was trying to outdo each other and do something different and weird, and it just came off as really bad. I mean, I remember there was one thing I didn't mention, which was the lady who was so hyped about Elder Scrolls Online or something. Can't remember if I mentioned it.
I did see that. And
it was...
I think even the guy who was, I guess, doing the presentation, even he was like, he didn't really know what to say. He was like, yeah, okay, cool. I don't know if she was messing around or what, but
I think she was actually genuinely hyped for this add-on.
The only one who was hyped for Elder Scrolls Online, but each of their own, I guess. Right, so yeah, we're back once again, and we kind of partly mentioned this if you did listen to the E3 special. We don't expect everyone to, because not everyone's here to listen to games, I'm assuming, but we did mention on the fact that at the time the world was in a pretty interesting situation, I would say. I mean, we're not going to jump around it, but basically since the actual vote happened regarding us being English citizens, it would seem that England is now leaving Europe, which didn't really benefit us for first in any kind of sense, because it just led to a bunch of confusion, anger, frustration, a increase in racism towards anyone who is not seen as British, and I kind of had me thinking, wow, that was, even just for what happened, that's really beneficial. I think we definitely made the good choice to leave soon as things have just gotten so nasty.
Something I'd definitely say is, if you are an English citizen, you see anyone doing these, it is a crime. It is a hate crime. You can tell the police, make sure you know what the people are, get some evidence. They can arrest them. That's how it is when it comes to hate crime.
I mean, just to slightly elaborate on what you're saying, you're absolutely correct, but we're mainly talking about these people who seem to assume that since we now have this vote, and I guess one of the promises, I don't know, I honestly don't expect anyone to understand what's going on, or to be fair, even understand, but I mean, I think ever since this vote, one of the promises was, we're going to get more money, everyone's going to be richer, and we'll get rid of the immigrants or stop them from coming into this country. And ever since then, people seem to think they have that kind of victory over anyone who they assume is an immigrant, so some have taken to, demean or shout abusive comments at anyone.
There's been a lot of stupidity from these kind of people, and that's the biggest problem with the Leave side. Out of anything, it's at this current state, it's left, like I said, things of people are angry, people are frustrated, people are just blatantly being racist and just completely unfair, which is incredibly upsetting, because now it's like, we got that on top of this questionable future for this country, possibly Europe, possibly the world. I mean, in the long run, it will definitely benefit UK economy wise. Social wise is looking like very gloomy at the moment, which is unfortunate. But we can work together. Everyone, if they actually pull together, we get a good Prime Minister in there. I mean, we can get things working.
I think we could work together.
Yeah.
I don't know if these politicians are going to work together.
Yeah.
Because right now it's just a struggle for power.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, cool. Now, as my mum made the very good or annoyed point where it's like, oh, well, we're going to have to vote for another Prime Minister now.
Yeah.
Great. Now the schools are going to be closed for another 2 more days.
Yeah, we're going to have, first we're going to have a Labour election and a Conservative election to see who's going to become the leaders of those. Then we're going to have a general election on who's going to be the Prime Minister, and that's all going to be around September, October time. So at least 3 elections, if I'm correct.
You want to know something, Ace? I don't care. And I don't care if the government's going to come after me, come find me. And if you want to find me, you know what the email is. But I honestly don't care. And I think this has just made an already terrible year even worse. I mean, even if like you wanted to leave and you got your wish, you have to admit things aren't any better. And obviously the transition is going to happen. Hopefully, slowly. I mean, I have my doubts, but hopefully it will be beneficial in the long run. But as of right now, it was pretty damn piss poor. And I mean, just looking at some of the other things going on in this world, we're not even going to tackle any of this whole Black Lives Matter, social justice warriors, feminist stuff, because you know we could do a whole video essay on that kind of thing, which we still might. We've also got the fact that, as a funny thing, which you'll kind of laugh at, the fact that England was knocked out or defeated by Iceland in the European playoffs. So England left twice, which was great. Yeah. I mean, and I think a lot of people are definitely surprised with Iceland.
Yeah,
all countries.
I mean, my brother's a big follower of football, and he actually was talking to one of his friends about it, and that Iceland being a major underdog, completely defeating England is out of nowhere. It's extremely confusing.
Yeah, it is rather surprising. Funny as well. I don't give a damn about football. No,
but neither do I.
It's just like, even I was like, oh, really? Yeah. It's very strange. I can understand if it was like Germany or Italy or another country that, you know, actually prides themselves on football, but
because Germany's in the semi-finals now.
Yeah, it's just I think honestly, and I don't care. I know what football fans are like. I think it's disrespectful, and I think. Yeah, I mean, I'm laughing because I'm like, you know, England will never win because there's too much corruption, too much money. And I mean, honestly, you want to save this country's economy, just pay them less.
Yeah, well, that's, the whole football thing, that's private business. That's the major problem. So all that money is set in the private business, not in normal UK economy.
I'm sure they can take them down much like they kind of took down the tobacco company, but...
Yeah. I would love it if there was less money there and more in the government.
They get paid millions for losing. It's like, oh, okay, cool.
That's the whole private side of it. It's really messed up.
Meanwhile, I'm dying of hunger.
The studio's gone downhill.
Yeah, you hear all that water. That's my water bill going off.
Yeah.
Right there. But you also got the whole situation in Brazil right now regarding the... I believe it's the Summer Olympics, is it?
Yeah, I think so.
You can read up on all that stuff, but I'm pretty sure it's just common knowledge. But I don't know what's going to happen over there. I don't know if... I honestly don't think they should even go through with this Olympics just because there is too much going on, too much risk. I don't think Brazil is going to come out of this better, honestly. Because, you know, it's not a great situation. But, I mean... Things are pretty bad, and I think they're not going to get, I guess, too much better on this podcast. But we've got some things sprinkled along that will hopefully light the flame. But one real quick thing I wanted to mention as we move off the whole, I guess, EU depression train, because all the news has just been filled with all this BS between politicians back and forth. I'm gonna do this, somebody. Don't care.
I think the problem is there's been confusion everywhere. You've got to look at the actual facts and details, not what people are saying.
If they're even facts, and even then they don't seem to be too clear for a lot of people to even understand. And I mean
that's why there's so much confusion.
I mean, honestly, I think my mom kind of put it best, where she was like, you know, obviously this is speculatory stuff, no confirmation there. They rigged the votes so that they can leave. One of the main reasons is because if we remained, no news, people would have continued not to give a shit about politics. Unfortunately, now that we are leaving, people now give a shit.
I guess that's one way to look at it.
That's one way you can spin it, you know, beneficial. It's much like the joke with in Simpsons where Homer goes to space. The only reason they, you know, send him to space is because no one cares about science. No one cares about space travel. No one gives a damn. You know, even to an extent that still happens. They send people come back from Mars. I know there's people on Mars and stuff.
Oh yeah.
But I think that was just another beneficial thing because people care about it. But you can do yourself a good service and not care.
Yeah, you could. If you do, just look at the facts, not opinions.
I mean, if they're going to let people who are going to be dead in like 5 years vote for us, then...
Well, that's very fascist. If you're stopping people from voting because of age.
It's the fact... Well, I think you probably should have, because they're voting for what?
They're voting for their children's future.
They're voting on their children's future. I bet you half of those people didn't even ask their children. They went, I want all these immigrants who take my job to get the fuck out of this country.
I think a lot of people...
And that wasn't me putting on an impersonation. That was an actual statement, which I...
No, I've seen some of those and they're stupid. I think a major thing is something I disliked about the EU is...
The EU, sorry?
Yeah, the EU. Yeah. You don't get to vote on who leads the EU at all. The people in charge of their governments do. We, the people, never get a vote. And whatever the EU legislates, we don't get to vote on. So we have no control at all. They were going to implement the euro in Britain without us having an election.
That was BS.
No, they were actually...
I don't want that nasty ass money on my country.
They were going to do that around 2020. They were going to make an EU army, so we wouldn't have an English army. There'd just be an EU army.
An English army, though? Like...
We still have an English army.
I know we have it, but it's like... Compared to other countries, it's like... It's not much.
I think it's still the fact we have one. And,
I mean, it's great we have one, but it's like...
Yeah, EU army, it's not a good idea. It turning into a fascist dictatorship.
And that's all it comes down to, really, is just power and egos.
Yeah,
honestly, and that's the biggest issue, because no one is or wants to kind of address the biggest issue. It's when I'm promised that I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that, and this guy, he's an idiot because he says this, and that's all it is.
Yeah,
honestly, but at least some good things came out of it, which was the fact that the actual speech regarding us leaving did actually turn up on Pornhub of all sites, the new YouTube, if you want, with Boris Johnson's speech regarding the whole situation, which had the brilliant title of "Dumb British Blonde Fucks 15 Million People at Once."
I do think that's really funny. Even though I'm not on that side of it, I still think that's funny.
You can even see the screenshot and everything. It'll be in the description. But...
Like, all the memes relating to the EU referendum have been hilarious.
Oh, they've been great, yeah.
Both sides have been funny.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I mean, there is that fact that people can easily still make light of a situation like this, which is fine. But I thought just perfect.
Yeah, perfect. No, it was extremely funny. I laughed when I heard about that. Look forward
to the full playthrough of Kingdom Hearts on Pornhub by me.
Oh yeah, of course.
It really is the new YouTube. I mean. Mainly because there aren't any as dumb as hell rules going on it, but we'll get to that later. Right. Anything you want to mention that you've been doing recently? I know that was a bit of a long intro, but we still got to keep going. Yeah.
So if people watch the E3 podcast, you might remember me saying that I'm going to go out. I'm going to pick up South Park: Stick of Truth. I did.
Yay.
During this week, I actually played and completed the game 3 times. I liked it that much.
What? Okay.
Yeah. So I loved it. It's a complete fan game to the fans. It's a love letter.
Perfect.
If you love the series, you will love the game.
Yeah.
Its RPG mechanics are sound. It's not even just plain turn-based. It's got the Mario Luigi kind of action turn-based, which I love. Mm-hmm. And just... I can't even describe how good it is. It's just amazing.
It's also a game that I would recommend for people who are big fans of South Park but have never even played an RPG.
Yeah.
It is a good game to start playing. Start with RPGs, honestly.
Yeah, it really is. And even, being a big RPG veteran, for me, the Jew class, very interesting play style. It's a very high risk, high reward playing. I loved it. It was great. But yeah, overall, brilliant. One of the greatest RPGs.
It's one of the best games of 2014, honestly. If you haven't already bought it, definitely do. Definitely play it before the sequel, The Fractured Butthole, comes out. Yeah. Can't wait to see what they do with that game. Because when I actually went back and looked at some of the videos when I was putting together the links for the E3 special, I noticed that when they showed off the classes for the superheroes, they only showed 4 of about 15.
Oh,
because the rest were... blanked out, but you could see silhouettes, and I was like, wow, 15 choices of superhero.
Cool. Yeah.
I bet you any money one of them's going to be like dark and brooding.
Yeah.
I bet you that's just what the class is going to be, dark and brooding, dead parents or something.
I bet there's going to be an Aquaman joke one. There will be
useless?
It'll be called Seaman. Yeah.
Yeah, they technically had thingy in what is it? I forget his name.
Was it the one that's got Jesus in it, the super team or something?
Yeah, super religious figures, which is great. And for whatever reason, the guy from Tron was.
Yeah.
I forget that god, but it was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But very Power Rangers-esque, Justice League, which was great. But hopefully they should definitely be in there.
Definitely.
Definitely. I mean, there's a lot of things that I know is going to be in there. I'm hoping Mintberry Crunch comes back.
Yeah.
Cthulhu. I mean, obviously, Professor Chaos will be back.
Yes. Yeah.
But we'll see. I mean, they have Ubisoft to pretty much just go crazy with, which is fine by me.
So after playing through the game, like for the third time, I looked back at the original E3 trailer for Stick of Truth, and it's nothing in the game is in there. It's strange. You've got a giant Clyde destroying City Hall. You've got the 4 main characters all talking about the new kid in a cave. You've got the mention of goblins, underpants gnomes, vampire kids, hippies, and crab people, which only a few of those appear actually in the game.
No, all of them do.
Goblins don't, and hippies don't, and vampire kids barely appear. They're there for like a second.
Well, it's going to be the same thing with the if you remember last year's E3 where they actually had that, I guess, announcement trailer for Fractured Butthole. Yeah. It was them riding on horses.
Yeah.
I doubt that's even going to be in the game because it's just a concept trailer. I'd imagine it's a rough prediction, but I mean, would you say if those things actually added into the game, it would have been a better game?
No, I'm saying that obviously that will happen before THQ had its bankruptcy. So obviously it got moved over to Ubisoft.
Changes would have been made,
Yeah. So what I'm thinking is maybe they're going to use some of these in Stick of Truth. Fractured Butthole.
Maybe. I mean, there wasn't too much missing from, I guess, Stick of Truth other than Kanye West, which I think has been confirmed.
Nice.
But,
and I found a bunch of concept art and stuff as well, which I also think I would love to see in Fractured Butthole. So it's like EV Games shop, which is in the South Park Mall. So I'm hoping South Park Mall is going to be a whole area. There was a graveyard which had the vampire kids, which wasn't put in the main game. It was in a beta originally. Christmas Town and an Underpants Gnome and Crab Demilitary Zone.
Military?
Demilitary.
Oh, demilitary, okay.
Which, they were basically separated by a little chain link fence, and you had gnomes on one side, crabs on the other. I thought that was amazing. But yeah, I'm hoping stuff like that would be put into the new one.
If it's a bigger game, then that could be a possibility. But we'll see. I mean, for what they achieved on a very tough situation at the time, they did a fantastic job. I mean, they did more than most games.
I agree.
Try.
I completely love this, and I think if any of this stuff was added into it, it might actually take away from what's there. Yeah,
I mean, let's stick with the superhero theme for this game, and maybe you can add that in as a reference, like Stick of Truth.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. I mean, can't wait. One of the most anticipated games of, I believe, next year.
Definitely. I'm looking even more forward to it now. 100% is Stick of Truth, so I want this game.
Good. Right. Anything else you wanted to add from last, I guess, technically week, but yeah.
That was basically it. I spent so much time. I loved that game.
I played it 3 times in a row.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played it a playthrough and a half. I know I was speaking to Tourette's, good friend of the podcast, and he was saying how he had to play it twice because, he's, I guess, resident achievement hunter.
Oh, yeah.
And he was saying how, because of that one, not really glitch, but situation where if you don't go and immediately refriend a certain character, you'll be screwed out of the whole achievement.
Yeah, I did that on my third playthrough because I completely missed that out. And it's like right at the beginning, and you've got to make sure it pops up on your computer, like on your menu. And if it doesn't, then it just doesn't count.
Oh, well. Yeah. I mean, it's one of the most solid games coming from Ubisoft, and that's probably because Ubisoft didn't really make it.
Yeah, Obsidian made the original, and but Ubisoft is doing the new one.
Doesn't even glitch, it lags, but that's about it.
Yeah, funny enough, I found out it's only PS3 that's got the lags. So I'm not sure what that is.
I saw lag on 360.
Really?
It was only slightly. It was only ever during when I would run to the edge of a screen and transition. That was the only time I saw lag.
Yeah, same with PS3. Okay. And that was about it.
Yeah, but it's very rare though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I only managed to watch 2 films because I was partly sick for most of the latter week. But the two films I did see massively different in contrast. I saw Creepshow 2, which is a sequel to the original, was it 1980 Creepshow film?
Yeah.
It's pretty good. I did enjoy it. It definitely didn't try and be as messed up as the previous one.
Yeah.
We only got like 3 stories, which I was kind of disappointed to, but they all kind of serve the same purpose. The first one is about, I guess, getting revenge regarding it's a nice take on kind of like the whole, Jewish story of like the golem and Native Americans kind of thing. So you can kind of figure you'll know what it's about as soon as you see the title and as soon as you see what is going to happen. There wasn't too much violence in it, but it's just a nice story. The second one, which I think was called The Float, which is
it might have been Raft.
I think it was The Raft, which is about some weird goo thing just floating in the water.
Yeah, a tar monster, I'm going to say.
Well, just gelatinous, let's just say, because I don't see any face to it. It could have been its own film, and I'm pretty sure Hollywood's going to milk it to be its own film. I mean, if we can make a film about a girl getting attacked by a shark on a bit of rock, then I'm sure we can do that. And sharks don't actively go out and just kill people.
No, I mean, there's one species, but that's only if it knows people are nearby. And that's about it. They mostly don't care about people.
Think of it, damn, you can stroke them if you want.
Yeah. I wouldn't recommend it. They have rough skin, so you might, cut your hand a bit.
If they have gloves, then yeah.
Yeah.
If you're scuba diving, they don't really care. That one was great. I'm not going to really spoil too much about it, but it's a great concept, the whole idea of like, being kind of stuck in the middle of a lake on this kind of raft thing, and there's some weird monster trying to get you. And the second one, which was, I can't remember the names of these ones, but I believe the last one, which I'm just simply gonna call "Thanks for the Ride, Lady."
Oh yeah.
It's the most iconic one just for the line, and it's legit good as well. I mean, it's the one where Stephen King appears in, so that one was great. But overall, it's a good, really good film.
I remember watching this when I was too young to watch it, and the "Thanks for the Ride" got stuck in my head. It was super creepy.
That's what I say every time I get off the bus when it's a female driver.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks for the ride, lady.
And then she just looks like, oh god, he knows.
Right for the ride. And the other film I watched was The Secret of Keels, which is a fantastic animated film which takes from, I believe, Scottish legend and mythology.
Yeah.
This film straight up looks like some kind of tapestry or some kind of tapestry that was weaved during the time period, because the director and animation completely nails that whole look, and it's really, really well done. And there's a lot of things on the back of the box. Like, this is a great film for like kids. It's got mystery and it's got a bit of like spookiness in it. And I was like, I've already seen the spookiness, and then there's this one scene where I was like,
okay.
This film doesn't hold. It's one of those good films where it would show you something which obviously a lot of animated films would probably shy away from, but they do it in a way where it's not necessarily implied, but you see it happen, but it's not like they didn't decide, oh well, if we're going to make it for hardcore kids, make sure there's blood and this scary face. No, it's like they balance it right, and I wish more films would actually do it like that, where instead of it being like, oh, he's about to get his hip chopped off, and then it's just like cut to the next scene of like, it's like in Bambi where his mother gets shot, and then the very next scene is just back to the happy flowers, and it's all like it's not like that. Once I guess people get injured or whatever, it's very much says. But I would highly recommend, if you're a big fan of animation, if you want to just kind of delve into a story that's not exactly mainstream or well known just in culture, definitely recommend this film. It's a fantastic film, and it's the same director did his second film, Song of the Sea, which is, from what I hear, just as good, and still coming off that Scottish legend mythology kind of situation. But yeah, 2 really good films I would highly recommend. So yeah, somewhat eventful week. Right, let's move on to the topics, and I believe the first one, unfortunately, still staying with negativity. Ace, do you want to take this one?
Yeah, so over the week, the actor Anton Yeltsin passed away at age 27. From what we know, he was leaving in the morning, exited his car and went to gate, and he was crushed by his car.
Yeah, it was a very upsetting situation to actually read, which, and it's a bit of a shame, because I mean, a lot of his friends and family did kind of like have some statements and kind of paid their tribute towards the, I wouldn't necessarily say up and coming actor, but he definitely was going places. Definitely of this year, I would highly recommend if you can seeing The Green Room, because fantastic film.
And I think he's still in. Obviously, he's in Star Trek Beyond. So, if you are a Star Trek fan and you like Anton Yeltsin, but Green Room's definitely one to watch.
Definitely, yeah. It was kind of sad to see a lot of people kind of like say things about him, like J.J. Abrams just described him as brilliant. Also had like I'm not, like obviously other cast members, which you can obviously read in the article. We're gonna like, excuse me, that's my voice going again. You can obviously read in the section like Guillermo del Toro of all people saying he was the sweetest, most humble, delightful, talented guy you'd ever meet, and the guy was. He was chill about things, and he had so much potential, and it's a real shame to actually have this happen once again, and it's we just wanted to make sure we reference this, him, which is a massive shame, but his looking for the future, I guess, but I don't know. Well, we just always wanted to mention these kinds of things first thing. Okay, right, let's move on to our next story, which is kind of like a two-parter kind of situation thing, and that is the fact that YouTube is going to be changing its terms of services, and then we kind of just wanted to talk about these actual changes. Now, definitely in the description, I would recommend checking out the 2 links under this section. You got one guy, we got one video which kind of gives a rough kind of comedic idea of what this might mean, and also we got the actual changes, which are mainly affecting, if I remember correctly, the harassment and cyberbullying sections under the guidelines, which obviously is a big deal if you've been following it, all the kinds of, I hate to use it, drama that's been going on YouTube, and it's just honestly really stupid. But I mean, I'm not really understanding why these rules are put in, because it's almost as if they've set them in order to silence as many opinions as possible.
Well, it
and
sounds about
give
right.
people the power to do that.
It's just like Twitter has been doing the same thing recently. It's all becoming this whole socially coddling of people.
And it's not right, because I'm getting really annoyed with people's arrogance towards the disrespect of someone. And it just goes, I understand this is the way the internet is. People will see something they don't like, and they may not necessarily think it, but, their brain will, and they will go, well, I'm going to tell this guy he's, bloody terrible, and he needs to go kill himself for whatever reason, and I'll get away with that, because unfortunately most of the internet is anonymous. I mean, frick, most of the people who've appeared on this podcast are anonymous. They're not, you can't find them. You can't find Ace. Yeah. You can find me, but you can't find Ace. You can't find Ferret.
Yeah, I don't actually exist.
He's a ghost.
Exactly.
He just exists in a beat.
Yeah.
I'm really annoyed by this whole situation of, for example, let's say Ace makes a video and he says, he's reviewing, let's say, The Secret Life of Pets, and he's like, oh yeah, I thought the film was good, it had this and that, and then I do a review. Yeah. And I say, I thought it was rubbish, and this guy Ace, I think his opinion, I don't understand his points on why he thinks it's good. I think he's just being silly about what he's saying about this. You can immediately see that video and go, right, YouTube, he's harassing me, he's cyberbullying me.
Yeah, exactly.
Get his channel freaking deleted.
Yeah.
Worst case scenario.
Yeah.
Absolutely terrible. I mean, of all the things YouTube should be worrying about, this is not one of them.
Yeah, exactly. Cyberbullying isn't what you should be worrying about. I mean, no. For one thing, if you're obviously on the internet, in order to watch this, you must have developed a thick skin.
Yeah, you need to. I mean, one of the best things about YouTube is it's a good introduction to media industry.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be a lot of situations where you may upload something, put your heart, soul, and effort into it, and you just get a ton of people, it's rubbish, it's crap, all this. And, maybe they're right, maybe they're wrong, but you got to be able to at least acknowledge this and kind of, take it to heart, but not too much. There was a great image, which I even tried to find for this podcast, couldn't find it for the life of me, where it was a video. Now, I may get this a bit confused, but it was a video which I think was entitled Someone Disliked My Video.
Okay.
And it was like one of those kind of like, text slideshows. And I think in the text of the screenshot, it said, okay, who was it?
I like that.
You don't want to be like that.
No, you don't.
You don't want to be that. I mean, I've made videos that have, dislikes, comments. I've seen comments that have, annoyed me. The one thing that annoys me the most is when repeatedly someone will say, this is my review, this is my opinion, this is my countdown, this is my, not yours, my. Yeah. And these dumb idiots will still go, I can't believe you didn't put that game. You're a fucking idiot. How could you not say that's the best game? What is wrong with you? Why wasn't that in the countdown? Why wasn't that number one? It's obviously the best game. You have no taste. Go die.
We all know Final Fantasy VII is better than Shaun White snowboarding. Go die.
Oh no, get out of here, Ace. Get out of here, Ace. Whoops. Oh, yeah. That's the rapture coming.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, it's a real shame. And I mean, YouTube, please.
Yeah.
Please, when we've got this whole situation with people breaking your exact rules, getting away with murder, extortion, and all this kinds of stuff, and you're going, oh, well, people need a way to be able to stop the cyberbullying. It's not even cyberbullying.
It's not.
Cyberbullying. Me saying I didn't like Jurassic Park is not cyberbullying to Universal.
Yeah, exactly.
Nor is me saying, oh, well, some guy on a review said the film was good, but I think it's bad. That's not cyberbullying. Cyberbullying is things that Leafy is here does.
Oh,
or his audience does. Where it's literally, oh, look at this, idiot. Let's go attack him. Let's go harass him.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Stuff that people like Keemstar is responsible for. Where...
Yeah, the whole YouTube drama shit.
The whole YouTube drama is something for another discussion because it is getting way out of hand because a lot of people aren't realizing that drama isn't bad, it's good.
Oh, yeah.
There is good drama because drama can actually help this world.
Yeah, it can. But...
I mean, let's be fair. Black Lives Matter, Social Justice Warriors, that's drama that could help and benefit people. And a lot of the time it can. Most of the time it doesn't seem to because the kinds of people who seem to be in charge of this or speaking the loudest might not necessarily know what they're doing, or they may have other goals in order to exploit certain people.
Yeah.
But this is an issue that YouTube needs to hopefully fix, or hopefully it's not as bad as we are making out to be. But looking at YouTube, I don't know about that, and I'm very concerned because I am, a lot of people now have to be worried because there are people who make videos about other people or about films or about this. And now you've basically said, yeah, well, they're in the wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
Not good at all. Sticking with YouTube, we also have to talk about, it's not really too much of a story, but I think there will be a link in the description, and that is the fact that YouTube has done its kind of annual cleaning of the website where it basically removes any, I guess, channels that are either bots or dead, and kind of just removes them, refreshes the website in a sense. So we just kind of wanted to mention that because a lot of people kind of freaked the hell out regarding this because as of the last year, YouTube has definitely risen in popularity. There are definitely more people have definitely got more subscribers. Obviously, getting 1 million subscribers isn't a big of a deal anymore. So a lot of people have definitely seen a massive drop in subscribers count. So we kind of just wanted to say that this is something they always do, but at the same time, I want to question YouTube on the fact that when people obviously did bring this up, why did you hesitate to tell them anything instead of just saying this happens all the time? I don't get that. Are you doing something shadier behind the scenes? Or did you realize how corrupt this site is?
Yeah, it's... I don't know. They're just trying to protect their public image.
I can easily go and inflate my views, likes, and subscribers if I wanted to. And obviously, looking at the mess of YouTube, and get away with it. I just choose not to. There are people who do this very obviously. And YouTube turns a blind eye because they make money.
Mm-hmm.
You need to stop this. Big time. And it's not a jealousy thing.
No,
at all.
That's the first thing anyone ever says. Is like, oh, you're just jealous.
I'm just jealous. Of course I am. I wish I could be a criminal.
Yeah, you're jealous of Soflo Leafio.
Soflo Leafio.
Yeah.
Boy, I mean, Soflo's pretty much done. Leafy's next. In terms of the whole grand scheme of let's try and change or make YouTube better, I think the kind of people Leafy is attracting is not very positive. No. There's always going to be hate and disgusting, awful things in this world, but adding fuel to the fire, in my opinion, doesn't necessarily help. Now, obviously, ignorance is bliss. I could just ignore it, and I do. But at the same time, when that guy's content is becoming the face of YouTube, says a lot about this. Well, you look at the front page of YouTube, and it's like, oh god. But
yeah, considering about 4 or 5 of those end up being like BuzzFeed videos, it's awful.
Which videos do?
YouTube, like front like page recommended. There ends up being about 5 BuzzFeed videos, and it's like, really?
BuzzFeed is too powerful. I appreciate the legit information, but at the same time, tone it down.
Legit.
A bit. Oh yeah, sorry, rabbit ears, but you know, I don't know about that. But yeah, YouTube's in a pretty weird situation. That's why I always say YouTube will not be making its 20 years.
Yeah.
Simply put, not with all this bullshit. I mean, something I was this close to talking about, but then it was like, it's overplayed, it's overdone. Let's not even bother with the whole Keemstar just getting his fucking shit destroyed, which I was just laughing at throughout the whole of it. But that's a good example. If you want to see corruption on this site, definitely go look up Keemstar. Well, better yet, any video about Keemstar. Don't go and support that man's channel. He's a piece of shit. Anyway, you have the next story, Ace.
I do. So in better news, more happier news, we have Bryan Cranston, the face of Malcolm in the Middle and Breaking Bad, that is going to be playing Zordon in the new Power Rangers movie.
The 2017 film.
Yes.
Which is good. I
am very excited for this, and I mean, he's actually had a lot of history with Power Rangers in general.
Yes, I'm glad you want to bring that up. He was... So something kind of funny was that during the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, that's correct, the Blue Ranger, aka Billy Cranston, gets his second name because Bryan Cranston voiced one of the monsters, Swizzlard. Snizzard.
He voiced several monsters, but that's one of the most well-known ones.
He gets the most spoken roles in that, which is pretty cool. And that's going to be in one of the articles, which I'm going to link in the description and the download link, but we'll separate that video just in case you just want to see that, which is pretty cool. So it's almost like a homecoming in some sense.
It's definitely a welcoming. And having a more well-known actor as more of a supporting character is always helpful. I mean, you look at something like the Marvel Universe with Samuel Jackson as Nick Fury. It's brilliant. It helps. It brings the cast together.
I mean, this is a fairly weird choice, but then again, it's Bryan Cranston, so I'm fine. I mean, even when he kind of announced it on Twitter, he basically said excited to play Zordon in the Power Rangers movie T or F. I'm not sure what T or F means.
T or F? No.
T or F. Hashtag Blue Ranger Billy Cranston was named after what actor?
Yeah.
Which is a nice kind of thing, and just a flood of images of his face.
Yes.
Or Heisenberg in the tube, or whatever you want to call it. And it's interesting what you picked up was, and it's the fact that Saban is doing a fantastic job marketing and building up hype for this film. And this basically means that they are very confident in their film. They have a lot of faith in the film. I mean, and you know, I mean, top marks. Honestly, I mean, coming from a marketing standpoint and advertising, they are doing it very well. They are getting, you know, the cost down well. I mean, we still need. I mean, there's still obviously some characters missing. Like I'm sure everyone's like Bulk and Skull or
Lord Zed.
Lord Zed, if he's even going to be in it.
And Goldar, who's the most famous minion.
Goldar. We'll see. I'm hoping he's still looks like a lion griffin thing.
A weird blue lion in gold armor with wings. Perfect.
You can't get any more like 90s than that, honestly. But I mean, I still looking forward to this film. I mean, they really just need to drop that trailer soon, and
they do.
They'll be set. I mean, this ain't gonna be no Ghostbusters.
Yeah, I was actually about to say, compare marketing between this reboot and that reboot, and you can see the major difference.
Here's the thing. I think that's slightly unfair because I think this Power Rangers film isn't gonna be a direct remake of any original film or series. I think they're at least going to try and do something original. Yeah. As opposed to Ghostbusters 2016. Hate the fact I have to say that now.
Yeah.
Which doesn't seem to want to do anything original, or can. I'm not too sure. I mean,
it's doing Oh no, wait. Ghostbusters 2 did slapstick already, so it's not even doing that original.
This one's doing crap.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully the film. I mean, I'm not seeing the film, but hopefully the film does well to the point where we get an original film.
Yeah.
Even if it's that Channing Tatum film, if that is even at least original, I'll go see it.
I was pretty sure I heard that and the whole Ghost core thing was cancelled. I'm pretty sure I heard that, but
I hope it's not cancelled.
Yeah.
Just so we can get original Ghostbusters films. I don't, because here's another thought I thought about. So let's say Ghostbusters 2016 is a massive success.
Yes.
Most successful film of the year, one of the most successful films ever. Obviously, there's going to be a sequel. What the hell was the sequel called? Is it called Ghostbusters 2?
Ghostbusters 2 2018. That's what it's called.
Like, what do you call it? Like, that's the one thing. With these remakes that obviously use the same name for brand appeal, what happens if they are mad successful? Are you just going to call it Ghostbusters Resurrection?
No, Ghostbusters
Revelations,
yeah,
or The Revenge.
Exactly. Oh no, my favourite one, and I love it every time it's happened. Ghostbusters 2 Electric Boogaloo. I love that too much.
It's a good meme.
It is.
I mean, I don't know. They're doing. I mean, take notes, people. Like, seriously, this is how you actually get people excited or hyped or interested in your film. I remember there was a time when, even on this podcast, I was like, "Hey guys, you heard about this Power Rangers?" Yeah. None of you cared. None of you cared. I think it was someone who was like, "What? I don't give a shit about this," and I was like, "Oh, okay."
I've always cared about this. I've been a big Power Rangers person since I was a kid.
It's like now everyone's like, "Oh yes, yeah. Oh Raccoon, what's happening with Power Rangers?" That's what's happening. But yeah, I mean, couldn't be more excited for this film. I mean, I think we can always kind of predict there's always going to be one good kind of reimagining, which is going to be Power Rangers for next year. And then I guess, no, I'm thinking of games, no, excuse me. And I think next year, obviously, the Ghost in the Shell film will be that one film that no one likes and just terrible and everyone forgets about.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Right. Let's move on to our first of two trailers that we'll be talking about. And we decided to actually talk about two original films for a change. We were going to originally talk about the official DreamWorks Trolls film.
Oh, God.
But then I was like, no.
Yeah, I think, can we just do the one thing that we wanted to talk about? Yeah. So, for Trolls, the only thing we both came consensus to was we preferred the look of the film when it was just on a white background.
I think it would have been more interesting that way.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, the characters are colourful enough as it is.
Yeah, exactly.
And they look nothing like the toys. But then again, that is an improvement because the original toys are creepy.
Yeah, they're hideous. I mean, they tried to rip off Marge's hair and then they were naked, and it's like,
how can something with such long hair be? I'm not going to read that.
But yeah, enough of Trolls. We're going to be talking about the trailer for War on Everyone, which is a title I just love so much.
It's a very relevant title.
Yeah, I feel like it's me that this film is marketed towards, just for that war on everyone. It's like, no, just everyone go away.
Next to How to Make a Joke in 2016. All right, you can't.
Yeah.
So this film looks pretty great. It looks like it's definitely going to be doing the whole like dirty cop genre, but which is unfortunately kind of a bit played out at this point. I mean, I don't think we really need another one, but at the same time, making the cops corrupt from the beginning, perfect. Yeah,
I think one thing in the trailer I love so much was them asking if this guy had cocaine, and he did, and then they started sniffing the cocaine.
Meanwhile, the drug dealer's like, what?
And then they hear police sirens. They will get worried. It's like, oh wait, we're cops. And that actually really got me.
They just start cracking up because they're like, we're safe. I mean, this film looks like it's going to be really good. I'm hoping that they kind of, in the terms of like the kind of things they get up to, hopefully it's going to be as dark as the film Hyena, which came out I think 2 years ago.
Okay.
And as funny as The Nice Guys in the sense of the chemistry between the two, which I'm hoping. Yeah. I'm really hoping for. I definitely want to see this film if I ever get the chance to see it, but it's definitely looking good. I mean, more original films, you can't exactly say no to that, honestly.
Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to this one. It's looking fun.
Definitely one to watch, which just never a bad thing. I mean, yeah, but that's cool. Right, moving on to the next story. A bit more of we got more of like announcement kind of story. So this is definitely one to kind of, get your pen and paper out. Definitely check the description and download link. Always in the description. I mean, if you want to see any link or if you just wanted to download the podcast straight, as soon as it's in your feed, if you subscribe to the channel, you don't have to click on the video. Just click that download link. You got it all there. You got the whole shebang as well as the email, which is raccoonplusfriends@gmail.com. Always good to know. Always useful to know, just in case you ever want to get in contact with us for whatever reason. Right, next story. Ticketmaster. You a fan of Ticketmaster, Ace?
I have used it before. I've got some nice discount tickets before on some bands I wanted to see.
Mm-hmm.
And some first, chance ones that no one else got until, obviously, those people did. So, it's been fairly good for me.
That's cool. So, Ticketmaster is back in the news for not being frustrating for once. And that is the fact that it seems that how would you kind of put this? I guess class action lawsuit was taken against them, which basically I've got to get all the information out. Which this class action basically went up to them. They were in favor of anyone who's ever kind of bought anything from Ticketmaster, and that was fired under the idea that Ticketmaster had failed to fully disclose consumers all aspects of its process to charge and basically the ordering of tickets.
Okay.
So basically, as an example, if you don't quite get that, you buy a ticket, let's say you're going to a venue, you want to see an artist, let's say it's £50.
Yeah.
Then as soon as you're buying and going through all the process of actually ordering and getting it, you see that somehow the ticket is now £70 because they have essentially not told you that that's obviously going to be shipping. That's obviously going to be the fact that maybe the venue obviously needs to get paid, needs a bit more money. It takes those things into account, but doesn't exactly tell you. So obviously you're spending more money than I guess you'd either plan to or want to. So essentially, Ticketmaster did settle this court case back in 2013, and it was approved of February 2016. So tech lawsuit kind of news out of the way. What exactly that means is that essentially, if you've ever made a purchase on Ticketmaster between the years 1999 and 2013, they owe you some sort of free ticket or some kind of discount.
Okay.
Which you should be getting an email, or you should check your account, and you should see some kind of thing regarding this. Now, you can't just pick who you want to go see. They're going to be giving you a ticket of some kind, and kind of as a follow-up, they're still kind of dealing with it, and it's not that cracked up to be, but hopefully you can get some kind of, at least something out of it. So we just want to at least spread the word about this. So definitely, if you do fall in with that margin of 1999 2013, it's definitely, if you can get something free out of this, definitely go do it. We'll put the link regarding all the other details in the description. Just go and check.
Okay. Yeah, I've bought tickets from there quite a few times, so
you should be eligible. I believe it's not just the one. I think depending on how much you have made purchases, you may get more, but do not quote me on that. I'm not too sure on that.
So I've at least bought tickets 4 or 5 times over the last 10 years. So
yeah, you're definitely eligible. You should definitely be eligible. Okay. So hopefully, I mean, the next podcast, even if you do get something, let us know how that turned out as a follow-up story. I kind of fall out of that last time. The only time I made a purchase was in 2015. So, right. I want you to take the next story, Ace, because I have very little to say about this one in terms of actual information.
So, discussing the film that Raccoon is looking forward to the most this year, which Star Wars The Rogue One. Not the Rogue One, Rogue One. It has been officially confirmed that Darth Vader will appear in the film, much to everyone's surprise. Considering the film is set pre-A New Hope, no one thought Darth Vader was going to be in this movie. And everyone is clearly excited because they're fanboys. I really don't care about Darth Vader being in this film. I would have been happy with it just being the general guy who it seems to be showing. Which, they've actually said that this character is trying to get on the good side of the Emperor while avoiding Vader, in a way, because he's scared of him.
He just chokes people out, that's why.
So it's the case of, so you're taking away from this new guy just for the marketing of Vader.
It all makes sense now, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I have every right to comment on Star Wars originality for the rest of time, or until I die, basically, because Star Wars isn't going to end. I mean, I knew this was going to happen, but I didn't expect it to happen this fast. I honestly thought they would restrain on Darth Vader for maybe one more film.
Yep.
But no, they couldn't. But second film in, you couldn't even help yourselves. Honestly, really pathetic.
I'm not surprised, and I really don't like this idea.
I mean, if you want to go see Rogue One, that's fine. I ain't going to stop. I don't stop no one from seeing or enjoying anything. But keep in mind, they are taking you for absolute mugs.
Yeah.
Honestly. I mean, yeah, it's great James Earl Jones is going to be reprising his role because he is one of the best things about that character. But I have the feeling it may feel very empty, much like at the end of episode 3.
Yeah, I think that's got a lot of issues with script. I mean, come on, the only thing he does in the Darth Vader thing is scream no in the most embarrassing way possible.
And it's even worse in the, what is it? I think it's the Back to the West dub of episode 3, where instead of screaming no, he screams do not want.
Yeah.
Which is where that actual meme spawned from. I don't know which is better, no or do not want.
But I think the major problem I'm going to have is how they use Darth Vader. Because if they're going to use him like the whole prophesized agent of the Emperor...
He'll get an hour of screen time in this film. Because that's why it's 2 hours long.
My favourite interpretation of Vader was the first Star Wars film. When he's not this mythical super force guy ever. He's literally just an armed soldier working for the general.
He's a space Nazi.
He basically is. He's a space stormtrooper, literally. And it worked there, but then they tried to make him more important until he's the prophesized one, and it ruins the character.
And that's where the whole franchise kind of made a massive misstep regarding the prequels, and it was a story, honestly, that I don't think anyone really cared about. I mean, because it's not as if it wasn't explained at the last film.
Yeah.
Or, sorry, the second film or the third film. It's not as if they were like, oh, but who is Vader?
Yeah.
You know, it's not as if anyone was screaming that or going, oh man, I really want to see the story of how he turned into, oh, actually, no, oh, crap.
I mean, the only thing the prequel should have been is Obi-Wan's story and just showing how Anakin turns bad. Not this Anakin is prophesied to be the one.
And even then they messed it up.
Exactly. They messed it up badly. They did awful. So, as long as they just use Darth Vader as that armed kind of, I don't know, attack dog, I guess, of the Empire, I'll be fine. But if they turn him into, I am God-man, hear me roar, I'm not going to be happy with it.
They won't. They will have him coming in and he'll just be throwing lightning all over the place and he'll be using the Force and he'll be like breaking like people's ships. I bet you any money that scene in Normandy, he'll literally be at the other end and he's going, oh, lightning, oh, destroy this guy, oh, throw my lightsaber, oh, I'm so powerful. And meanwhile the other character's like, oh, how do we stop Vader? He's so good. He's too powerful. Oh no. That's basically what the film is going to be. You basically ruined this film now, they have. I mean, this film didn't really have that much potential, but still.
It had potential with
new characters, but that was about it. But even then, you've completely just... Once again, one of the biggest issues is like you've basically gone, this new original ideas and characters, I think that needs to take a back seat for nostalgia-ridden fanboys to go...
Oh, so like Force Awakens?
To an extent, yeah. It's like... You know, and that's the biggest issue I had with when we reported on the whole situation of them making changes up in number 8, where it's like, nah, I think these new characters we've already seen, granted they're still new, they need more screen time. You new guys, I think you need to go sit in the shade for a bit.
I mean, I was actually happy with that because it meant the characters that we establish in Force Awakens actually gets them development.
Yeah, it's fine if you want to develop them more, but I still think for you to immediately kind of go, all right, no, well, we need to have less of that originality and more of something that's kind of still original. That's the problem.
If I'm looking at it from the case of Star Wars and then Empire Strikes Back, new character would be a kind of Lando-ish character. So it'd be an introduction of one new good guy and then a bunch of new bad guys. If that's what the idea they're going for would be.
But then the cast of like episode 7 will be dead by like 2037.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that.
But yeah, I just hope that they're not going to focus too much on him.
They will.
They
will. They can't help themselves. I mean, this is Star Wars. Do you think they're going to be subtle?
It depends if they're writing Star Wars and Empire or if they're writing the prequels. You know, there's a subtlety in the originals. They're probably just going to do like A New Hope again, honestly. I really don't want that.
And then you're going to see like CGI Luke and he's like, oh man, I can't shoot the Death, you know.
I mean, I understand the original Star Wars is one of the bests, but yeah, don't just copy it. Do something original like Empire.
Yeah, that JJ.
Yeah. Yeah, JJ.
I mean, I know he's not directing any other Star Wars film, but still.
No.
Oh dear, I guess that's the last thing I want to say. Ace, you want to take the second trailer we have to talk about?
Yeah, so the next trailer we have, it is called The Girl with All the Gifts.
Not to be confused with the girl with the dragon tattoo.
Yes. Or the girl who shook the hornet's nest.
Good books and films if you watch the originals.
Yeah, my brother actually loves them. I need to watch them at some point.
Definitely.
Yeah. But from what I'm getting from this is it is doing the whole zombie thing. Mm-hmm. But it looks
don't leave just yet.
Yeah, exactly. just wait. It can still do something new, surprisingly. Mm-hmm. It looks like it's handling it in a very different way. Mm-hmm. Being the weird kind of kids and all being restrained and all that kind of stuff. The fact that this girl, it might be a zombie. She kind of isn't in a way. It's very...
The trailer doesn't just go, oh, these kids are zombies and we've got to stop them. It's essentially what I'm seeing is it's a story about, or an idea about, zombie children possibly being rehabilitated or studied or whatever. Because, you get that one scene where they're kind of in the restraining chair and it's like, oh, time for class. And they are very much like normal children. And you're kind of like, oh, what? But I mean... It's very surprising to be able to say that for a zombie film, this is actually looking like somewhat original.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's doing exactly what Romero says he wants with zombie things. It's making some sort of social commentary. And this being some sort of social commentary on people being brainwashed and having to be educated back to normal. That's the idea I'm getting from this little trailer.
I'm getting the idea of what I'm getting the idea of what World War Z probably should have been in terms of we've got to fight and get the cure and that kind of thing, because World War Z is a hilariously bad and funny film. Yeah. But we got to do audio commentary on that film, because that film cracks me up.
I think I actually tried to watch it with my brother, and at one point I fell asleep. I woke back and I put nothing changed, and I was like, okay, great.
Yep, more Brad Pitt.
Oh yeah.
But that's if you want to see just a dumb, funny, bad film, World War Z cracks me up.
Read the book though; it's good.
Yeah, the book is good from what I hear, but the film is just so I don't even know what's going on. I don't even care. My favorite bit is on the airport.
Oh God.
Sorry, on the airplane. That bit cracks me up.
But this trailer actually kind of reminded me of the game that's out at the moment, Inside. Strangely enough,
I've still yet to see that gameplay. It just looked like Limbo to me, so I've been taking my time with it.
Yeah, I can understand that. There is some differences, and I'm still confused by the ending of that. I don't understand.
Is it trying to be pretentious or something?
I'm not sure. It kind of is, but it also seems to be doing something B-movie, which I'm very happy about. As in a secondary rate science movie. Sci-fi, not as in the B-movie. I mean, that movie's a classic, You can't talk bad about that. But, yeah, it's reminding me of Inside.
Okay. Oh, that's interesting. Definitely, this is going to be a smaller film, so it might be hard to actually even see this film, but it seems like it will definitely be a watch in some regard, especially if it's good. I'm hoping that the story is able to match the strengths of the concept. That's my only kind of worry for now. Right, kind of bringing this podcast back from the grave. Nintendo's NX, I'm pretty sure you're probably sick of hearing rumors and stuff about it, but apparently, according to one statement / rumor, we're going to consider this a rumor because I don't necessarily trust anything that comes out of any CEO's mouth, especially that of the CEO of GameStop, being Mr. Paul Raisin. And that is the fact that when asked about whether or not the NX will be, whether it will use optical discs or whether it will use cartridges, he pretty much said, he pretty much said that the console itself would be, actually, let me find the quote real quick, which is just, completely... I'm just completely losing it. Basically, it says it will have physical media. We will play a role in it. Our pre-ordered business will also play a role. So we're excited about that.
The pre-order bit doesn't sound too good to me.
Why so?
Well, pre-order in general, I mean, it's not really a good thing to go for.
The only time you need to pre-order something is when it costs the same amount of money, and you're getting that steelbook and that art book. That's the only time you pre-order a game.
Or you get that tiny little plushie and you're like, I kind of want that. Even
they
though
don't put enough plushies with like special editions.
Even though I'm a 35-year-old man, you know, I still want that plushie.
Oh my god, I want that plushie.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, but I mean, this is probably the first time that I would hope that, you know, I would hope that there's some truth in what this guy is saying, honestly. Mainly because it would be smart for Nintendo to keep it with some kind of physical play format, because people still aren't ready for a digital system. Not yet. So it'd be better just to stay with everyone else and kind of keep it in that kind of sense, because, you know, I mean, Nintendo could definitely make a massive comeback with this system, because I'm pretty sure if it is revolutionary or no one's ever done anything like this, I bet you any money Sony and Microsoft will just drop their VR headsets and be like, right, we're doing that.
I mean, that's the thing. Do you remember when I think it was the Steam Machine came out, and it was just digital, and no one bought that? I think the only person who owns it is Liam from Best Friends, the Best Friends Zaibatsu.
Yeah, well, he's the only reason why you know, PS Vita has made 13 million.
Yeah, he bought every copy.
He bought them all.
Yeah.
You know, more power to him, I guess.
Yeah.
But which is something I also checked as well. The PS Vita has outsold apparently the X1.
Oh wow!
Apparently by 3 million.
The Vita hasn't. I mean, they both have no games, so it makes sense.
I'd say Vita has more, honestly.
Yeah, especially more original games.
More original games, yeah. But if that is true, then that's quite bad.
Embarrassing.
It is embarrassing. But then again, Sony can't exactly chat, because they've only made 40 million. Yeah. And they're getting beat out by consoles like the Game Boy, 3DS, and the PS2, and the PS3.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say, before you mentioned PS3, 3 of the best consoles ever. Well, computer systems ever. So, yeah, with Game Boy, 3DS, and PS2. Three of the best.
Yeah, it's true. And GBA, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Underrated.
I mean, to be honest, almost all the handhelds from Nintendo have been great. So,
all of them have been fantastic. Yeah. I don't think there has really been one. I technically, I don't consider the Virtual Boy handheld.
Yeah, imagine walking around wearing that.
You can walk around holding it, but I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah, you're going to be walking into lampposts in front of a car, then you're definitely going to be seeing red.
Much like VR itself.
Yeah.
Which, you know, that needs to calm down on its own.
Can people not learn from like 20, 30 years ago with the Virtual Boy? You know?
People never learn. They're just kind of stuck in a rut. I wonder if, like, VR will be like the new PS Vita.
Oh, God.
Where it's like there's going to be, I'm presuming, a massive push for it next year during E3. And then when that, I guess, doesn't take off, it's no mention.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
You won't see Minecraft at there, finally. Because it's like, you know, it's the same thing with, this just be irrelevant. Because by the time, even just on an off topic, when they do the Minecraft film in like 2019, you think anyone's going to give a damn about that? I mean, granted, Angry Birds film still made money, but then again, it's a kid's film and it's got colour in it.
Minecraft does have colour. I mean,
not as much as the Angry Birds film, honestly.
They can make it more colourful.
If you compare the game to, if you compare the Telltale game, which should in theory have way more colour than the game, to Angry Birds, I would say I would rather see Angry Birds just based on its aesthetic look and use of colour palette.
I'd rather see none. I don't.
That's an option.
Wait until they announce Minecraft 2.
Minecraft 2.
Yeah, I remember Xbox talking about that. Yeah, I remember. Well, not an Xbox in general, but Microsoft.
Shouldn't it be Minecraft finished?
No.
Or Minecraft 1? Because Minecraft isn't technically a finished game.
Oh no, it did fully finish and come out. I mean, it still gets free updates.
But it's technically not a finished game. That was the whole point of it. It was just an overnight success.
Oh, well, yeah, that was when the whole beta and everything was going on.
It's still a beta game.
Oh,
granted, it looks better than some games.
It's actually full release now.
I know, but it's like, technically, it's like, I mean, Minecraft 2, what, is it going to look worse?
Well, instead it will be polygons. No,
but seriously, what are they going to do with Minecraft 2?
I think they're just going to add more.
People will freak the fuck out if it doesn't look like Minecraft. So they can't make it look like anything that's standard.
No, I think
it can't run at 60.
What they're just probably going to stop the updates and then just do Minecraft 2 and it will have everything in Minecraft 1 and more stuff. That's what I'm thinking. And it will probably be a Microsoft exclusive.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They gotta get all the, exclusives they can. I'm pretty sure if we called ourselves a Microsoft exclusive podcast, they'd buy us.
Oh, yeah.
Desperate.
We can make a mint. Easy.
Well, I don't know how much this podcast is worth, but then again, I guess the audience can decide that.
Yeah.
Which let us know, if anything. But right, let's move on to our...
If they don't say 2.5 million, I'm going to be upset with them.
Then I'll subscribe.
Yeah. I'm unsubscribing from the people who say we're not worth 2.5
Find
million.
every single subscriber.
Yeah.
Subscribe and then unsubscribe to them.
I'm going to make a video asking them who did this.
Who did this?
Yeah. I'm watching you, microphone.
Who didn't watch the podcast?
Yeah.
Who was it?
Exactly.
Oh, gosh. Right, let's move on to our final general topic. And, oh, boy, is it an odd one. Right, so, essentially, what it seems is we're kind of going back to 2010. More specifically, the 5th of December 2010, where an image of a goose with its head on fire became the talking point and became a meme itself. Now, if you're actually reading the article, you've probably seen this image of this goose. Don't worry, it's not actually on fire. It's a bit of an illusion. It's just perspective. It's a goose running in front of a campfire, and at the time where the photo was shot, it looks as though its head is on fire.
Or, if you want to be woke, it's actually a Moltres. We all know this.
If you want. Strangely enough, as of the year, as last time I checked, being 2016, it would seem that the higher-ups at Facebook and Mark Zuckerberg himself does not find this meme funny. Not one bit. To the point that they have even censored it.
Jeez.
They have censored this image of a goose with its head on fire. And it's not even on fire. Behind a screen that basically blurs the original image that says, this photo was hidden because it shows mature content such as graphic violence. Show photo. To which it reveals the photo of the aforementioned image of a goose with head on fire.
Jeez, I mean, Facebook. We already talked about the whole socialist stuff with YouTube. Why are you doing it now?
I'm really somewhat speechless regarding this whole situation because I'm honestly wondering, did this cause for a meeting? Did they go, right, there's a serious issue, it's too violent, can't have an image of a goose with its head on fire, which actually is not its head on fire. I mean...
This sounds like a sketch on a South Park episode. You just see a bunch of CEOs sitting around a table with a goose head on fire.
I want South Park to talk about this. Jeez. I mean, I honestly don't get it. Like, does Mark not like this image or something? Does he have some personal vendetta over? Because
oh my god, what if he was actually at the campfire? Yeah.
Well, surely he would have the power to just remove it off Facebook.
Maybe.
I mean, the thing I honestly don't get is, if you want to censor images, that's fine. There are images that need to be censored on Facebook. The fact that you've maliciously gone out and censored this image all the way back from its original post on Facebook, date 11 or 10, like, really? You've actively searched out this image and gone, right, can't have none of that, that's getting off this website. And in doing so, you've just spawned more of it, because now the Facebook feed that I see is just full of this image.
That's, seriously, Facebook.
They even censored the parodies of it.
Oh,
because it's still because that just shows someone is actively looking for it and going, right, that resembles that image that I don't like. Let me go and censor it. Like, holy crap.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Like, geez, like, tone it down just a bit. I mean, and even now people have obviously taken advantage of the situation, and they've now posted images which actually are of mature content and graphic violence, to the point where people go, oh, let's see this version of the goose fire, and they're seeing some horrific stuff. Jeez. I saw one the other day and it was pretty upsetting. I mean, don't worry, it wasn't anything like too disturbing. It was just an image of a guy with his bone exposed.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've seen that stuff all over Facebook, and yet they don't censor that.
In censoring pointlessness, you've just made You've
made a mockery of yourself.
Well, they can do it on their own, but it's just like, really?
Yeah, I mean, considering that they still allow people to completely rip off YouTube videos and put it on theirs, and yet they don't stop that, but they can stop Goose Firehead.
Hold the presses, guys. No update just yet. Have you seen this absolute tragedy of this goose on fire? Oh, these sick people. Reveling in the fact that this goose is clearly burning alive. We have to censor this image.
But the fire's behind it. You're out, Johnson. You're leaving. You're fired.
Fired.
Get out here.
And there goes the resources manager.
Yeah, exactly. There goes the one sane man.
Jeez. Definitely check out this article. If you haven't seen the image of the said goose, I don't think the image is not of that good quality for me to make the thumbnail of the podcast, unfortunately. But definitely check out the article to definitely see the glorious lit goose.
Yeah.
Which is fine. Right, moving on to our discussion. Bit of a short one, mainly because we can't talk too much about it, since we're not exactly experts in it. But we're essentially talking about the fact that over the last 2 weeks since the previous podcast, Mighty No. 9 was finally released to what I guess would be a lot of disappointment.
A major disappointment.
In disappointment, it itself becoming a meme and a good example of overhyping the potential of a good thing. Unfortunately, Kickstarters will. So I just kind of wanted to ask these kinds of questions that we would just kind of theorize, and maybe if you guys want to even jump on this discussion, obviously you can reach us, raccoonplusfriends@gmail.com, if you want to get your 2 cents in. So we just want to ask these few questions. So was this, do we honestly think this game was doomed from the start?
I don't think it was doomed from the start. I think 2 major things that are the problem. One is the sheer overload of additional Kickstarter like things, so the bonus stuff like voice acting, all of that kind of stuff. That's one thing. The other problem is when I can't remember, what company is it that published it?
Deep Silver.
Yeah.
They brought it out.
Yeah, when Deep Silver bought it, basically. That's another bit where I think it started having a problem. Deep
Silver don't do too well. Honestly, They have a very shaky track record. I mean, just for example, they are responsible for the Dead Rising games.
Yeah.
They're also responsible for the Ride to Hell Retribution game. That was a game they made.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they also were responsible for getting out Metro Last Light, which is a fantastic game. And just reading up on the story of how they even got that game made is a true triumph.
And I think they're also the publishers of, I think it's the Of Orcs and Men or Styx games. Yeah, I believe so don't take my word for it. Yeah. It's one of the lesser known current RPGs that,
their track record is very weird.
Yeah.
So I think that does come down to it because I don't really trust them too much when it comes to, every time I see their name, I'm like, oh god, because I'm just reminded of Ride to Hell Retribution and how well that game looked and turned out. But I mean, I think regarding the situation, I don't think this game was ever doomed from the beginning. I think it was, for me, it was just the sheer hype of how successful it was and just the kind of almost what you're saying, the additional things being added on, because by the time the game was confirmed to actually being made, we went on to get more versions get released on multiple platforms. That's something you honestly really need to worry about once the game is finished. Yes, it's great that you can get the games out to all your fans on every kind of platform, please everyone, make as much money, but at the same time, you really should have spaced yourself out in that sense. You should have said, right, everyone's getting PS4, you're getting it on this day, X1, you're getting it this day, PS3, you're going to have to wait a little bit longer, it's an older system, you're getting it a month later, 3DS, you're getting it here, Wii, you're getting it there. Having it all released at the same time meant that this, what we now perceive to be an unfinished game, just came out as a massive mess. And I think also the added addition of the fact that they were all too ready to have someone make a cartoon about it.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know where the hell that money came from or who thought that was a good idea. And I would hate the idea that anyone who's actually on the actual creating of the game team was even remotely working on that. Because no, you need to make this game first.
I
if
agree.
it's a massive success, then you make the cartoon. That's how it works.
Yeah.
You can't, unfortunately, you can't really make a cartoon without there being toys and vice versa.
And I think one thing that, I think you sent me the video and it was Alpha Omega Sin.
Yeah.
Talking about how he hasn't even got his copy yet. And he kickstarted it.
Yeah, I mean, Alpha Omega Sin, we'll give him a nice shout out. He's a cool dude. Alpha, if you ever want to be on the podcast, you are more than welcome. But we'll give him a nice shout out. He has been very, very much supportive of this game, even to the point when that second trailer came out, and he was like, "Oh, it's awful, but I'm still playing this game." Yeah. Even in the video, he says, "I still want to play this game. I still want this game." He hasn't necessarily been one of those people, maybe like us, where we're like, "Oh, fuck, I ain't playing that game no more."
I mean, that's the thing. I'm still going to play it. I want to see how it feels, because that can change things.
The feel.
Yeah, but I've heard a lot of bad things about it. Funny enough, I actually thought I had kickstarted this.
You thought you had?
Yeah, I thought I had. Because I remember back a while ago, me and my brother kickstarted a few games, and I thought Mighty Number 9 was one that I had kickstarted. Mm-hmm. And I think I actually mentioned that on the podcast at one point. But I hadn't, and I'm actually very happy I didn't because of what has happened. Mm. So, yeah, I'm happy that didn't happen. And I'm happy my name isn't in the 4-hour credits.
Oh, yeah, that's another thing. I mean, still, I give them props for actually going out and mentioning every single person. But damn.
Yeah.
Like, geez, you should have at least added some kind of skip button.
Yeah, exactly.
Not skip button. Obviously, that's a standard, but a speed up button.
Yeah, a fast forward kind of thing. But
I mean,
4 hours. I mean, credit all the people who.
Not even Undertale has that many people. But yeah, I mean, I guess I kind of already answered the second question, which is basically, but I'll get your 2 cents on it. At what point do you think it all kind of went wrong in some regard?
I think it went wrong probably, I'm going to say after the first or second delay.
Okay.
Around that time, and that's when more additions to the Kickstarter started picking up. And how people are hyping it, this is going to be the best game ever, this is going to be the new Mega Man and all that stuff, which it was shown to be. Mm-hmm. And that was, I think, around the same time when there was the concept art of the whole 2D, the actual drawing style was published and stuff around that, and that wasn't what we got.
That's what I was going to bring up. I personally feel, I think at some point, whoever made the decision to move it to 3D, they really dropped the ball on that one. Because I'm not trying to say that if it was kept in 2D, it would have been amazing, best game ever. Yeah. But at the same time, there was a reason why, obviously some of the younger audiences, you might not understand why people will get so hyped up about a game being in 2D or in 3D or having the look of a 2D game but still being 3D. And that's because during the early 90s, when the graphics of gaming and the consoles were making that shift from 2D to 3D, it was a big deal. That was a real, revolution in, the gaming industry. And we unfortunately lost a lot of games and franchises because they couldn't quite make that transition. Yeah. Some were better than others. I mean, obviously people like Mario, Zelda made the transition perfectly, but some, that you still see today still stay in 2D. Some, never came back. Some had, shaky transitions. So it does make a game because it is a whole nother beast when you are doing a 3D game because there is so much to take into account.
Yeah. And I'm sure a lot of the money end up going towards 3D instead of the 2D.
Yeah, because the graphics look fine. They look they could have been way better personally, but then again, I haven't seen it with my physical own eyes, so I can't exactly say. We are not acting as if, we have our opinions on the game, but I'm pretty sure once we do play the game, they may change. But I think if the game had retained some kind of look of something like Azure Strike Gunvolt, which as of right now seems to be the more superior game, and it even was a mini game attached to the game, which was Mighty Gunvolt, which essentially was a harken back to the Mega Man games, which is, I think, is only 20 minutes long, but that was, I think, if we got something more in line with that, not necessarily the style, I think it really could have worked, because the game has a lot of potential, a lot of really cool ideas, but it kind of flip-flops in between wanting to be Mega Man, wanting to be original, and awfully gets stuck. Yeah. To where you're going, oh, that's really cool, but then you're like, oh, that's really, not very good.
Yeah. I mean, if there's one thing that they definitely should have noted when it came to Mega Man, the only one that made a good transition to 3D was obviously Legends, which was a new series. Mm-hmm. The X series was hilariously bad when it jumped to 3D. Yeah. And that's also when they added the embarrassing voice acting.
What am I fighting for?
Yeah. You'd think they would have learnt from those lessons. But especially Keiji Inafune. Mm. So, Yeah, you learn from your history. A good general message from this whole podcast.
Which is also very interesting because he was, I believe, creative director on Azure Strike Gunvolt.
Weird. Yeah.
He technically had some kind of... He must have had some kind of creative input on that game. I don't know whether it's literally the situation of... I believe the team that actually made Azure Strike Gunvolt worked on the X series.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, X series, sorry.
Yeah.
Whether it was just them going, is this good? And he was like, yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
But still, he would have had some kind of input, and that game has turned out... Definitely check out Azure Strike Gunvolt. It's even getting the sequel, because it did very well, which I'm very happy about. I guess the biggest question we now have to ask ourselves is, what about the future of Kickstarter games? Because now there is a lot of backlash, and a lot of people are very upset with this game, how it turned out, and all this. You know, people have definitely kind of realized, oh, not every Kickstarter is a success. And you got to realize that, yeah, they're making a game for you, but they're not making a game just for you.
Yeah.
They're making a game for the fans and for themselves. You'd hope most of the time.
When it comes to Kickstarter, you've got to think of the good ones as well.
Yes.
So, successful ones that happened, and then you also think about what is it with Might Number 9 that went wrong. Yeah. And part of it was the overhype. Mm-hmm. Don't overhype it. I mean, I remember when people were like Shenmue 3, and it's like, holy shit, this is going to be best game ever, and people were already starting to hype it when they had shown nothing. So don't get too hyped over it. Back it sensibly.
Like, it's perfectly fine to be excited about something you want, but just, you know, we're not trying to say always be paranoid like I'm sure some people are now, unfortunately, going to be about Kickstarters. It's just... look at it, think about it, you know, take into consideration what is going on. Is this a good idea? Is this something you are going to be willing to buy or put money into? Don't just go, right, slap that money down, I'm going to do this, because I'm sure that's what it was like with a lot of things. But, you know, we have had good Kickstarters in the past, and don't let those games get outshadowed. I mean, Shantae and the Pirate's Curse, also the other one that came from Tim Schafer.
Broken Age or...
I think it was Broken Age. The one where it's like the two characters in different dimensions or whatever.
People had problems with that because it was too short and stuff.
They overhyped it.
Yeah, exactly.
They overhyped it.
Yeah.
I've seen that game. It looks fantastic. You know why? Because I didn't overhype the game. I just went in cold and I was like, wow, this is a really good game. I can't wait to play it. I mean, and let's not forget, you know, I think the biggest issue now is everyone's kind of looking at the more recent Kickstarters now with a bit more worrisome you know, eyes. You know, you got Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, Yooka-Laylee, Shantae Half Genie Hero, Psychonauts 2. They're the four biggest ones I think most people are excited about. And I think it's something to take into consideration when we were talking about like thinking about it, situation. Look at what they're actually saying. Look at the actual game in some kind of regards.
Yeah. So Bloodstained, they've recently shown their demo. Yooka-Laylee, they've had videos out on the gameplay and stuff, so you can see what it's like. I'm sure Half Genie Hero has.
It's looking mint.
Yeah. I need to look up on it myself, because Shantae is one I definitely need to get into. It looks so fun.
Psychonauts 2 is the only one we haven't actually seen anything yet, but we've got some trailers which have some kind of promising insight to things. But you got to look, because with Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, something I probably should have mentioned on the podcast, was the fact that it was on the E3 floor. And one thing that was really cool, the guy who's in charge of it, the director himself, he worked on Castlevania Symphony of the Night. He was there.
Oh, nice.
He was there on the floor, answering questions, talking about his game.
That's pretty cool.
Game directors don't usually do this. Obviously, they're busy people. But at the same time, you got a consideration now. Why would this guy, take up part of his day to be there? He's there for the fans. Yeah. He's there to go, right, this is what you need to know. He's there for feedback. Yeah, he has a clear idea of what he wants this game to be, but he is also taking into consideration of what this game can be.
Yeah. I kind of wish I was there just so I could give him the feedback of the movement animation is a bit slow. That's it. Just speed up the character a tiny bit.
Then again, early game.
Yeah, exactly.
Early game. And same with Yooka-Laylee. You see the interviews with the guys in charge of it. They are having fun more than anything, to the point where I'm theorizing maybe the reason he delayed it is because they're having too much fun.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, they are definitely like, yeah, let's make this game. They're having very fun. A lot of care is definitely going into this game. Same with Shantae. The game, for a very low cost, all the Shantae games had Kickstarters. Sorry, the last two had Kickstarters with very low kind of goals, but they're looking as if they got like millions.
Yeah, exactly.
In a sense.
You don't need millions to make a good game.
No. I mean, there are plenty of examples of that. I mean, the more recent one being Undertale.
Yeah.
Had a very, somewhat small Kickstarter, which some people don't actually realise it was a Kickstarter game.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why I got confused when I saw the game and everyone's hyping and I saw the character tutorial and I'm like, oh, what is this character coming? Because I'd seen her before and I'm like, what's going on? Why am I seeing it everywhere? But
so I remember I started talking about it. It's like, oh man, Undertale's looking amazing. And you're like, wait, what?
I was like, what is Undertale? And you showed me the character tutorial, and I was like, oh, I know that character.
Yeah.
The goat thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, just gotta be careful about things, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, don't let Mighty Number 9, all the memes and all the stuff get you down about these games you're still interested in. If you see a game and you think it's worth supporting, do it. Because I think we're in a state of, not necessarily crisis, but a worrisome situation where you're looking at a lot of games, and once again, anytime, you know, there's a game trailer and some guy's, oh, it's a really cool idea, you're like, oh, I'm getting into this. He pulls out a gun and it's like, switch off immediately. It's like, next. It's like pretty much the same thing with E3. As soon as you pull out a gun, it's like, okay, it's going to be shit.
I mean, that's the thing. Sometimes guns can work, but you don't need guns and everything.
But it's just their attempt to go, well, it's popular in it.
Yeah.
Same thing with a lot of games. Good, we've got to have an RPG element in it, and it's like, RPG element.
Yeah. It's because they want to be an actual game. That's the thing. So they look at RPGs, the proper games, and they're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, we've got a leveling up system. That means it's an RPG.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, Skyrim. Jeez.
Piss poor.
But yeah, I think the best thing is to not let this situation make you cry like an anime fan on prom night.
It's true. It really is true. I mean, disappointment has been had. There will be many more disappointing situations in the future. I mean, just look at 2017.
Yeah.
Look at the Ghostbusters film. I think no matter what happens, that film is going to be filled with disappointment. Do you know why? Because if the film is bad, people will be disappointed. If the film is good, people will be disappointed.
Yeah.
Main reason being, if the film is good, then they'll be like, oh, fuck, I can't hate on this film.
Yeah. And if it's bad, people can be like, oh, I can't tell these people they were wrong.
You know, they'll be like, oh, they might be like me, but it's like, oh, damn, there was potential here. And then it's like, just wasted.
Yeah.
Completely wasted. But yeah. Oh, dear. Well, keep it positive. The gaming industry might be around for a few more years, so let's just buy all the games you can before they're gone.
Yeah.
And before the only way games happen is via Kickstarter.
Yeah, just jump onto the indie games as soon as you can, guys. They're creating.
It's the real talent right there. Ah, boy. Right, so let's get into ending this podcast with the videos of the week. Now, the first one is a somewhat more relatable, relevant video, which is essentially John Cleese versus Extremism. This is a 2-minute section of Mr. John Cleese, who, if you don't know who he is, 40 Towers.
Yeah.
There you go. I just changed your life.
He's one of the greats. A brilliant comedian.
Fantastic. It's basically, we don't want to spoil this video. It's definitely worth a watch, but it's definitely him putting his 2 cents into something which has unfortunately become more rampant of late, and it is quite funny. Definitely think about this video. There is a lot of satire and comedy, parody coming towards it, but definitely give this a note, and if you feel that this may apply to someone, definitely go and send this to them right before you cut off connection with them as a friend.
And also, I do actually recommend his Twitter. It's quite fun. And he regularly responds to people, so yeah, you can always usually ask him something, he might get back.
We're the same with the podcast and the email. But that's actually a good insight. I mean, he's a much older man, so he's much wiser. Old people can be some of the wiser people. Sometimes you just want to sit down and just hear an old person talk about history, and you're like, oh man, turn this into a story. But and the second video, which we just kind of had to add, was it doesn't necessarily say this in the actual title, but it is the Japanese. It's kind of hard to phrase it. It's essentially the Japanese Ghostbusters cover theme for the new film done by 4 Japanese comedians, essentially doing a bit of their own take on Ray Parker Jr.'s original theme.
Yeah.
And it is way better than the awful Fall Out Boy featuring Missy Elliott cover with the rabbit ears.
That was horrible.
We didn't think it was actually even worth making that a topic, so I'd much rather briefly talk about this while promoting something good. Yeah, it's how, if you're going to cover something and not change anything, at least have some kind of fun with it.
Yeah.
Which is what obviously these 3 ladies are doing. I mean, I'd much rather have these ladies be the actual cast of the film. Because even just by watching this video, you can actually see personality in each one of them.
And they're actually having fun.
Yeah. Just goofing around on a set for like an hour or 2.
Yeah.
Which is fine by me. But then again, trust Japan to be able to fix a bad situation like this being the film. I mean, I'd be very surprised if the film is even remotely successful in countries like Japan. I honestly don't see it. I honestly don't see it that being a situation, honestly. I mean, we've got a few more weeks till this film comes out. Then it will just be out of the way, the bad reviews or the good reviews, and come out, and then everyone can forget about it.
Yeah.
And then all the hate will be diverted straight to Ghost in the Shell.
Oh, God,
I'm pretty sure they are just waiting for that film to get over its hype so they can go, oh, we're doing more empowering things for women. It's like, piss off.
Yeah.
We're making this male iconic character female because we don't want to piss off any last hopes of fans.
I mean, that's the thing. I still had that issue with, I think, Dark Tower. But that was a different situation. I know. We talked about that.
It doesn't matter because it goes back to the whole situation of casting for reason or casting for talent.
I think my problem was because story-wise it didn't match, but because there was a black woman that was racist to the white guy in the story, and the white guy being central character, and that was a prominent part. That was my issue. But yeah.
Where does this film take place? 2016 America?
No. I mean, it makes sense though. It really does.
I think the Dark Tower is going to be very relatable then.
Yeah.
Get out of here, you black.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I think they did the switch, because they can't have a black woman racist to a white person, That's why.
It's probably because the filmmakers have never seen a racist black person. That's probably why. They probably just assumed that black people can't be racist.
Yeah, it's because it's institutional racism,
Only the white evil man is racist, apparently.
Yeah.
And always will be, because he's evil, and the black person is always innocent.
Yeah. I'm currently oppressing everyone.
Or misjudged, or some other BS.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Everyone can just be as racist as everyone. Doesn't matter. People are awful. All people are awful.
Exactly.
You're going to scream about equality, and it's like, women are just as evil as men. That's something a lot of people don't realise. Yeah. I mean, as the great Chris Rock once said, everyone lies. Men lie the most. Women tell the biggest lies.
Yeah.
A man's lie is, I didn't know who she was.
Yeah.
A woman's lie is, it's your baby.
Yeah. You
can come attack me on sexism because I don't care.
It's true though, that stuff happens. I mean, I was actually going to say we should definitely look at an episode of South Park when the kids didn't even see the race being discussed on a flag. And everyone realised, they're so anti-racist, they didn't even see skin colour. Yeah.
South Park has some great race jokes. For example, when they're going to go steal that whale. And they've all, because they're kind of sneaking around, they've all got the black clothing on, and they got the black face mark on.
Yeah.
Except for Token, the black kid, who then has white makeup on his face, which is a fantastic joke.
It's brilliant.
Which, even if they got caught, that would have been brilliant. But, I mean, people need to calm down just a tiny bit.
Yeah.
But, enjoy the 2 videos. Definitely the Ghostbusters video, because let's get this to more views than the awful Fall Out Boy video. I mean, Fall Out, you should be ashamed. You are now done.
Yeah, I remember when I used to like you guys in 2006.
Man, I remember when you were good.
Yeah, literally. I mean, they weren't even good. It was good, okay.
Listenable.
Yeah, they were listenable and fun for my teenage years.
I only have one good song that I like.
Which one was that?
It's the one on The album with the sheep on it. And it's the second track.
Okay, I think I know which one.
Seasons Change or something like that.
Yeah.
So something like that. I think that's the only song, and then after that I was like, nope, straight back to the Panic at the Disco.
Yeah.
Only the first two.
Yeah.
But just in case.
Yeah.
We're talking 90s rock, something that doesn't exist anymore.
It's early 2000s rock, but it's still got the whole 90s theme going on. Yeah.
That edgy feel.
Yeah. Back when rock music existed.
It still existed, it's just not very good, much like rap music.
Oh god, yeah.
You look at rap music as a joke. It's a massive joke. I was telling you about that track from the rapper Designer.
Oh Panda, yeah.
And it was just like, oh, this passes for rap.
It's a joke, complete joke.
Imagine if I did the whole podcast like that.
Oh no.
Jeez.
Oh, I would unsubscribe instantly.
Unsubscribe easily, and I'd have to make a video saying who was it.
Well, considering that I've actually said, so you wouldn't even need to do that.
But then I get 2, and I was like, right, we got an issue here.
Yeah. I know one of you was Ace. Who was the other?
I was at 60 subscribers. I'm at 59. Someone own up. Was it you, Jessica347? I'm looking in your direction because you weren't listed there, and there's obviously been a jump.
Oh, right. No, it was one of my fans from Mexico. I'm seeing that drop in the analysis.
Oh dear. All the stats.
Yeah.
Gotta take them into consideration. But I think we'll let the podcast here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully. It was podcast 40. Once again, if you want to see any kind of, I guess, article, video that we've definitely talked about on this podcast, you can always check the description of the YouTube video, as well as in the actual file in which the download comes from. It's all listed as hyperlinks there. Obviously, once again, if you want to get into contact with us for a slightly faster way directly for the podcast, that is raccoonplusfriends.gmail.com. Anything else you want to add to the podcast, Ace, before we finish up?
No, nothing else.
No, we should have Ferret back for the next one, actually. And also, one thing I'll quickly mention, I should be having my next impressions up after this podcast, as well as all the interviews and videos I did regarding Comic-Con. Sorry if it's been so late, but I am in the later stages of my actual education course, so there is going to be a bit of slowdown. So hopefully all I can say is hopefully you guys enjoy it once it finally goes up. But anyway, I'll end this podcast like I always do by saying I am the Angry Raccoon.
I'm Ace.
And we shall see you on the next one.
I think I'm still saying off Dewey-san, so...
That's fine. Alright, laters, guys.